Mm. Hello, I am Nathaniel of the Northwest. Pleasure to meet you. Currently, it is 7:15. Oh my gosh, is it recording? Is it recording? Yes, I don't know if it's recording or not. It's 7:15 a.m. September 23rd. uh, to get that out of the way, I am day 23, editor Nathaniel. Editing it right now before it hits 2 p.m. for my projects. What can I say about my absence this time? More transparency. I think that there are times where you decide, or a version of me decides, that it's better off to consume media than work on something you enjoy. And that takes away from many balances in your own life, yes. But it's these types of reminders right here that are cataloged to restore some truth in the nature. Although much vulnerability is behind it all. For the person not showing up when I have to be here. I could be spellcasting for who else I know in the Pegasus parades. But there's something about it that just makes someone do it. I think a lot of it could also come down to just the build up of it and the anxiety behind it. There could also be cases in which there are people who just feel like they just need to take a nap after eating a lot of food. And there are also times when there are many things in life that makes them just drastically not work on it as a result to do it in the long run. I think it's very much so a present I hate myself moment every time or Nathaniel sees the buildup of content in the background. And a lot of the times, it's not like a force of habit, it's really just innately how it is. Anyways, enjoy the third week. uh, the third week of where I started and where I'm now. Hopefully, I get 3 out of the book because I have. Oh, Nathaniel has to work on Houdini. Yes. So 1, 2, 3. Then probably later on 1, 2. But above all, I think something like this has to consider how much do you want it and the energy behind what you have now. Doesn't mean you have to finish everything, but once you start it, there should be no turning back. Unless, of course, you meet a demagogue and then obviously you gotta run away and backtrack and think of some things, but otherwise, if you don't have a beholder behind you, then you're not gonna turn a stone, aren't you? Nathaniel the Northwest out! Minecraft's out.
I'm self-inserting a question here because I got my drink. I got a drink. But put in the Vsauce song. What is alternative ID? When you're paying for something, I don't know. Like I use like my credit card, and then it asked me alternative ID, and I'm like, what do you mean? It's my credit card. That's where we end there. I want to note that I did the thing where I'm sleeping. I did set an alarm on my phone. Maybe I slept through it, but I was like, I'll reenact it. And you're like, and then I turn around, and then imagine this saying like 6:35, and then I'm like, oh, okay, and then I go back to sleep. It's rough. It's rough. I'm just like, ah, and I'm like, oh wait, okay, we're good. Let me sleep a little bit. You're like, okay. You're already another day starting in a bad start. Is complacent. No, I'm kidding. Wow, you're like, what was that? What was that about? That was about nothing. Don't worry about it. This lighting. This lighting's great. Just appreciate the lighting. Appreciate the chili mac bowl right here that I got. Appreciate that I got a fork and a spoon. Appreciate that I came out of media ethic class being like, you know what? I gotta do something about my life. I don't know. Anyhow. Yeah, I came out of that class. I lightly read the article. That was good. And then we did discussion. We did a whole tape discussion with small tapes and big tapes, which was on the fly. A thing that she came up with, which I was like, that was pretty good. That's pretty good. I was on the small tape side, so that was something we represent. But the whole idea behind it was to show that whether or not you are a big tape lover or a small tape lover, you are gonna innately, but can arguably so disagree that there is a rider, an elephant in your mind. What does that mean? Well, the rider is your reasoning, and the elephant is your emotions. And the key to that is having acknowledgement over your compatriot who has the viewpoints, whether you agree or disagree or not. And what mostly we tend to lean towards is a combatant mindset articulation. And that means trying to attack the other opponent's viewpoints. And I think overall, for the last week and this week, it's a lot been of that discussion of what seems naturally we tend to lean towards when it comes to our mindsets, and representing it from political examples, alignments, or experiences in your life, and improving it based off of research, media. Like today was like an AI article from a crypto bro named Adam about the necessity whether or not you should game, or the balance between you gaming and your workload. Which I'm like, yeah, that's valid. That's a valid question to answer. But then the biggest argument in that article, besides being an AI generated article, obviously, is that when you are trying to not have time, essentially, when you don't have time when you're gaming and you need to write your essays. What do? Well, you hire someone to do that paper for you. And that's the most critical point in the article, other than being from a crypto bro. And we had to discuss that. I think for me, when it comes to that question of like the gaming experience and your work-life balance experience, just the question alone, not about the article, which is what I thought we were going to talk about, which I was like, oh, okay. Not ignorant to me, but I'm like, that's what I read, sure. As at first, I think also the underlying layer of it is that don't have media ignorance when it comes to a lot of what you find yourself researching on the web. And I think one promising thing that I was kind of like, whoa, okay, that's kind of interesting, is that one of the people in my group was talking about how Google is killing itself with the idea of having these AI generated like summaries in the top when you search for something, then opposing for someone to actually like search through articles and read about them, which I find fascinating. Interesting. Fascinating. But I would say, with the question in mind of trying to balance game and I'm kidding. I'm just gonna keep driving. The game and the media that you present yourself with, whether if it is your workload of your personal projects that you want to work on, if you're like very independent that way, or your school assignments, because the article is conveying how do you balance your academic and your lifestyle of video games, like playing video games. And I think the article leaned towards the chronic people in life that tried to be like severe. I'm going. Yeah, the chronic gamers in the world who can't do their homeworks. No, but I think it also comes down to just like general procrastination, which is, the article itself is like a big web of like what it is. But I would also say that I'm just being because I'm also focusing on driving, but now I'm not driving, so that's good. I'm gonna taste this. I'm gonna rate this. Ta-da! Wow! Nice. It tastes like a pasta, and it's very much saucy. The meat, heated, tastes like a brisket, but a mushy brisket. 6 out of 10. Like I was saying, I think with the article in mind, besides it being AI generated, just the topic alone of your workload and your video game habits. That's what it boiled down to. And how to balance that, which a lot of the article was just talking about, besides the paying someone else to do like your writing to get informative, I thought of it as like get a tutor, get help from a TA or something. And then anything afterwards is essentially being not respectful on your time, but to have discipline. Have discipline in your time restraints and when you need to cap it. And a lot of people in my group were also like, it wasn't very specific because it also depends on the type of like college you were going for. Maybe you were going for someone who's like more like English oriented. So obviously you have to be like very research oriented and sources proficient versus someone who is doing art, which more of the research in things is the source link material, the imagery, the context, the period of time, and having some correlation between those. But here's my thoughts. Not on the articles, maybe I talk about some of the articles and stuff, but just some of the things that I noted when reading about it. I was thinking about this one video, and I have not watched the video in a while, so bear with me if I am wrong about the video. But it speaks volumes to me in the video about the idea of playing video games on the weekends, or just on the weekends. I feel like I need to discipline myself in that sort of way, and I do believe in the idea of like disciplining yourself and having a hyper focused schedule and understanding like when do you have to use the restroom or whatnot. That's just how my brain systematically likes to think, and if I lack thereof, not have that, and have people, not to undermine people, but just like have people say that, oh, take a load off, don't try to worry so much about yourself, like burning out, then I'm sort of like, so I shouldn't work at my full capacity, or in the capacity I've been working towards for a while, and I should lower my bar. And when I do lower my bar, it's kind of weird. I think it's always weird. It's almost like self-sabotaging in a way, which I hate. But I think at the same time, it's one of those things in life where you have to like reasonably be like, in life, you learn from people, and you take the best parts of people. You also take the best parts in what they say, and then reflect it back at you, and then be honest with yourself. I think that's the key part of it. It's like, be honest with yourself. It's like, is it really hurting you? And you have to actually take a step back, and you actually have to like, not like write down the 2 best things and give you informants, because that's what the article said, but be like, hey, am I hitting the right things in my life with these in mind? So let's say like I need to eat, right? I think there are such things as you are working too much. I believe in that. You know you are working too much if you're not eating and if you're not sleeping. Because I feel like the fundamentals of being a human is that you need to sleep and you need to eat. I think the basic practice of also having video games as a way to get yourself not stressed out from your work assignments and alleviating your mindset off from one thing to another is obviously a good thing. I would say it's a good thing. I am assuming, and from my experience, is there are a lot of people who not can't concentrate, but find themselves not being able to really like note taking. So in the group, honestly, I was a note taker, which is not bad. That also meant I didn't really talk a lot, but also that meant that I was like, okay, can I form my own thoughts? And with that in mind, I lost the idea of what I was thinking. When you play a video, note here, a lot of this is cut. Some of it is cut possibly because I'm trying to think. What I think I want to really say about the idea of trying to balance your workload and your time when you are trying to have activities that sway away from your workload is that it almost feels like that you need some sort of secondary source. So sort of like a third place, right? You need another thing that doesn't get you overwhelmed by the first idea that you were trying to prioritize. And I think often than not, you can find yourself not just like journaling or scheduling yourself, but having that correlation of when do I have an opinion on something, and when should I initiate to do that thing so that it benefits me and it helps me? And I think in my personal life, as of now, like for last week, it's been a lot of, hey, I'm not really doing things because the environment around me is convincing me otherwise to do something else than to prioritize the thing that I should be doing. And later on, even with the deadlines that come about, it shows to be like, hey, you were right. Hey, you were wrong. And it doesn't help to not outweigh one side or the other because of how my brain works, where it's like, I like to see on both sides and whatnot. And what I wanted to also mention as well is that there was this video. It's unrelated but related at the same time, of these two animation YouTubers, I think, that they're dating QA. And the first clip,
All right, go for it.
for however long that clip was, wow. In the morning, it made me just be like, gosh damn, I have to lock in. And I go in the shower and I'm just like showering. But it's those moments where, sure, I'm just watching like something, right? But then when I find myself in the rabbit hole of watching something and then being like, damn, it's moving me to do something because it's whatever I believed in psychologically, or that I need, or be like, wow, it makes me realize where I'm at right now. I'm like, damn, okay, let me work on myself. Is weirdly the most profound thing in my life, and I don't want that. I think also what I've learned even through that, when watching it, it made me realize, and I also mentioned it like in one of the other videos, if I did edit it, is the idea of being delulu or delusional. I think working hard and being delusional work hand in hand. And I never really clocked that right now until now. Sure, you can say like mirroring, right? You could say finding your balcony, right? It's very self-serving. But I think the delusion aspect of working hard for whatever goal that you're going for is such a subconscious thing that is self-motivation at its core. And whether or not you believe it or not, I think delusion also comes with a passion. It's something that you feel like is proven to be like yourself, right? It's like the passion that I like this Ditto lanyard. It's great. Or the delusion that like if I didn't have a lanyard so I can't hold like my ID or whatnot, is there. It's almost like an intrinsic need where I like bought that like fish ice cream because I felt like I needed it. It's almost like a gut feeling. But I think don't mistaken that with that gut feeling and delusionment. I think delusionment is self-feeling, right? And I think you have to put that in practice in understanding what is the best delusional aspects, because there's also the toxic delusional aspects in your life or with other people, is saying like, oh, they're like the tsundere of your lifestyle. It's like, no, you don't want that. You want the type of delusion that motivates you to, for example, that video. I think I was delusional enough to be like, man, I'm so lonely in my life. And that's the weird truth. Like, let's be honest there. It's like, damn, I'm watching Q&A and I'm just going to shower and I didn't get up, I didn't eat. I'm like, damn, let me cook for a second. Let me turn this off and let me do something better with my life. See, it's like that type of delusion. Like, it's like you reoccurring, like taking yourself out of the delusion of your own space and your own environment. You're like, oh, okay. And there's also the delusion aspect of like making like a comic. I think the best example for that and like how that delusion was shut down so instantaneously was with the plotline continuity, which I made during COVID. And during that time, I had this weird delusion and passion to just be like, I want to make a comic because a lot of the things that I've been reading about were a lot of web comics. Here are a lot of the web comics I really like. And still to this day, I really like. But with that in mind, I think it was when I was still on the engineering track and my dad came in and he's like, what are you working on? And it's like, I'm working on the comic. And then he's like, well, is it helping your career or your degree? And it's like, no, this is just something that I want to do. It's like, well, like, not, he didn't mean it in like a shut down sort of way. It's sort of like, well, stop doing that and try to focus on your career. And it's like, it's so depressing. But I think that only works if you're emotional like me. Who's like, I take that to heart. I feel that in myself to be like, fine, I'll kill the creative passion. And then that's why I never really continued on. But the story, honestly, the framework is there. I just never actually drew it out or created, even until now. Like, I love the concept. I love the fleshed out characters that I made, but I've never really committed to it because I felt like it's just that lingering feeling of like delusionment now overshrouds it. From my delusion of making a comic to then delusion of like prioritizing my career now, or like trying to have my father like believe in that this is, I have to focus on what he believes in at the time. But that sucks. But it's one of those things where you have to recognize in yourself to be like, are you that type of person? Are you that type of person who's very emotional and very pushover? Are you very much the person who is like, okay, you have to like self-define and like actually prove to people that you really want this? And that's where my next example goes to. Very much, it was when I did my change my career path. This is just now not about me. It's just about like me talking about my career. Is when I finally wanted to just, also during COVID, just get out of bed. And it was in the living room. It was hot, cold, allergies, sipping on my toothache. And it was that delusion of like almost going back to community college to finish my degree in engineering. But then another part of me was like, there's that, or change my degree to art. And I think it was still during that time, I think after the fact, that I did the comic thing. But it was at that time where it was like, it's one of those apex moments where the Flash like sees his parents die. Not to say my parents died, I'm not saying that. I'm saying like the moment that I go downstairs and I print out the form and then my dad sees me. And then I'm like, and he's like, what are you doing? And it's like, I legitimately cried because I'm very emotional. That's who I am. But I'm saying like, I want to do this, not to like prove him wrong. And he was also questioning like, oh, is someone forcing you to do this? Like, no, I want to do this. I, for the Delulu I am, want this to be my thing. Not something that is like pushed upon me to believe that, not even with the stress behind it, but just like, I can see myself in 10 years doing and still being like, it's the most rewarding thing imaginable, even if I'm not paid to do it. And art is sort of like that already, but it's like when I just unlocked that moment in me, and then he's like, sure. And then here I am. And here I am, Delulu still. Here I am eating a mac and cheese. Like, I don't think I would be doing that. Generally enough, don't regret it. Even if I make these videos and I sound like very gloomy and dumb, I think it's just one of those things where it's like, I'm not lowering the expectations, but setting the expectations of, well, life for me is like on a daily, and I force myself in the daily, and I want to actually self-improve upon that and like try to like, how do I visually represent that? How do I be honest with that. But also at the same time, I don't want to overshare and find that boundary of like what is oversharing, what is not oversharing, and just sharing topics like these that, although they don't garner as much, it is impactful to me in that day. And again, like I said, is just the ability that each day now feels like it has not a reason to live, but has like moments and nuggets where I'm like, ooh, I remember there was this supermoon on this day. That's kind of cool. I would have forgotten about that. Or, ooh, I played this game. That's kind of cool because I was recommended by my friend of this thing. And a lot of the impact again being that I can look back and be like, this was a terrible day. Yeah, rate that a D, rate that a B, rate that a C. My own personal thing. And I think I want to develop that Delulu mindset of what content creation is about. It's about almost sharing someone or a lot of people what you can bring to the table in society. Even content creation like outside of social media. It's just like when you make something of your own, you're trying to self-identify that with like maybe the representation of like separate the artist from the music, right? It's that intention of like you made something because you made that whatever line that is, and then the artist evolves over time, whether they're very controversial or whether they're not controversial. But this thin line of it is that you enjoy their music. But to end it all off, what is a good way to actually balance your career and your passion is what I wanted to say. This is where it all led up to. Wow, that's great. To balance your career and your passion, you have to be delulu. You have to be delusional. You have to try to figure out where you put your energy. Not just scheduling. Where do you put your effort in things? Write that down. And when you write down where you put your effort in things, you can then see yourself, what should the schedule be? How much dedication do I naturally put into other things? And to overcome the what's it called? I don't mean right now. This perception, there you go, of overanalyzing it. Okay, I'll just say the full sentence. Believing what other people think about it. Like conspiracy, I guess. And to put logic over emotions. Lately. That's a 70 to 30%. 70% logical, 30% emotional. Because there's always a human behind it, you know. Like let's say like for example like production, right? It's like I want to know what you guys are doing. I don't know what in the ground floor is, but logically I am working on a framework of weeks. We only have 2 days, Tuesdays and Thursdays of projects. Tell me what needs to be done and I will format it accordingly. Easy said and done. Also, here are deadlines, you know. That's what a producer really does, right? They keep track of the timelines of things, and they also make sure that everyone on the team not just agrees, but feels like they're putting in the amount of effort that they want to do. It's almost like you have to fuel their own delulu and delusions, which is not a bad thing. It's like, that's why I'm saying, like, you have to have your own delusions, like, have, like, passions and have, like, drives and have, like, goals. To say that they want to work on this thing, you know, I feel like I never really put that into words a lot of the time. And it's always assuming, that's what it's called. Assumptions, not perception, assumptions of people. Because I think without putting a lot of logic into your reasoning, And I think logic comes with research, right? Your sources. So having that article being AI is not helpful at all. That's just me. Now I'm gonna eat my mac and cheese, and I'm also gonna work. I'm editing these videos and then doing my lighting assignment. That's what I need to do. And making sure, hopefully, that one assignment that I did is not just still awaiting approval. I just want to just make sure about that. And probably I'll just message her about that. Yeah, because she left the room really quick. My meeting ethics class, I'm like, oh, okay. I guess I just have to message her, which is, you know, assuming the worst, but you don't assume the worst. You just like do it. You just like rip off that band-aid, that logic. It's like, boom, there you go. Okay. Here's my deep analysis of what these weeks have been like for me. Kidding. I'm not gonna do that. What? What do you mean? What crazy? Lock it. This was the last time I didn't really post, but I'm still making congruent videos over time. This is today. We're right here. If you don't see it right now, we're right here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 7 days to edit stuff. This is editor Nathaniel here. Hello, what's up? I'm kidding. I'm not editing right now, but I'm making a video that will preemptively show me the editorial process of when I do things, which I think it would be kind of nice for this video because I only had that one class, so I might as well just talk about that breakthrough of how I do this each time. Maybe I show myself recordings of like when I do my edits. I don't know, that's kind of weird, but at the same time I will make sure I post these also on the same day, which is today. Why? Because it's kind of weird if I do a post and it normally changes over there. Again, the times that I say like I spend a day each time, it's a personal goal to post every day. I failed to do that, let's be honest. Yeah, I'm right here, and my last post was right here. So let's not make this a thing and that it snowballs over. Let's actually do something, right? I know. Because the only assignment I have to do is like a lighting assignment. And that I checked, I have halfway completed. Just kidding, I didn't do anything. Why are you lying? Lying. That's the intro. I'm kidding. You're like, what? I was about to say something, but I was like, let me not just say that. Let me just, that was smooth. I know. I don't know how much dandruff. Bro. Okay. I have no beef. I have no qualms. This is a personal attack. I'm just like, I get up. I edited this video at this point. Okay, which is great. And then afterwards, I'm like, okay, I'm checking my things. Oh, Suzanne is like posting things. And then I get this info. Which is not like too much to out her out, but it's just like in general, I also see it in my team. It doesn't irk me. Obviously, it's like, no, hear me out. I want to know from the public, which is more common? Nathaniel or Nathaniel? That's it. Because I'm like, I feel like the E, whichever I decide which one's the E one is more common than the A one. Like, do you hear like a Daniel, right? Daniel. Denal. My case stands. Small tape, big tape. anything, is that I just kept telling my timer 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or when it hits like 6, 7, 8, 9, until it hits the time I have to take to go to school. Which sucks on my half because I want to do something for that. And I think I just need more of a reason again to get up, being that I want to do things in the morning, which I don't feel like I have. Because sometimes I'm tired. Doesn't say that's an excuse. It's just like when I get up in the morning, I don't feel as like dry anymore. I just feel like body ache. Like it's like, oh, please let me regenerate. But yeah, hopefully I don't stay in school too long because. Wait, what? I am going to stop editing a little bit and take a little like nappy nap or just like lay in bed so that my back doesn't like cave in, you know, because sometimes you be arching. And I also want to end the video with a ranker, obviously. I will say I've been productive in actually editing my videos, which I really like the editing process. More than not than if I feel like, oh, are you... Hands down, I love it. It's almost like you develop a personality when it becomes like editing each thing, even if it's like very minuscule. But the point is, what is the ranker? Well, the ranker today, I would say is a B. Why? I think it's a B because of me not immediately laying down in bed and actually doing something. And also going out and eating. Did I eat out? What did I eat? No, I got a mac and cheese bowl. And just continue working and trying to do that, which is fine. I think it would be also a low B, but it is a B nonetheless, even if I've not done my work. It's a weird thing that I've said that like over time, and I think it's just a good reflection to be like, I've said this and I've labeled as a B, but I don't want to be like, I've seen what C's are like. And it's like, okay, this is a C day. Well, like, this is a B day. It's like, I think one of these days must be an A day. And I'm like, what is an A day? Maybe I'll represent that if I feel like it, or I don't, or I forget about it. But I've been enjoying it thus far, and I also know how long... Guess the video. How long that's... Wait. Yeah. Guess how long that's going to take. I don't know. This one feels like it's going to be a long one. So that's why I'm trying to end it early as of now, because it is 11:32 p.m. And yeah. Anything else do I want to say? So I don't think so. Oh yeah, I guess an advice. I guess my piece of advice is that what I said earlier in the car about your delusions, and to feed into your delusions, and to be conscious to feed into your delusions, should be a good practice in anyone who wants to be striving to find who they want to be in life. Because I think something as life takes you and envelops you into whether you want it to be something or not, it's your awareness as you develop over time to say, do you want to be stagnant or not? And with being stagnant or not, are you willing to see through the process or not? Is the other way of saying it. Because I know in hearts of hearts, when I make these shorts, they go banger. You know, I'm also gonna just note, like, this video right here, it's a peak video that's been on my homepage. Sure, it's only been carrying the views because I put it on my homepage and I'm the only one watching it, but if I made that a short, it would pop off. Kid you not. I kid you not. The algorithm is, like, ripe for the taking. And I just have to, like, when I catch up, I'm gonna be like, now let me make my shorts. But then I'm also gonna be like, when I make my shorts, I'm gonna be like, waiting for it to upload. And then I'm gonna be like, you know, I don't know. Maybe this is a thumbnail. Maybe, I don't know. That just me? I didn't even pick a song. Did I pick a song today? I did not pick a song today. Just know that. So that's going to be for future day 16, Nathaniel. Here are my questions for day 16, Nathaniel. What are your thoughts on when you are hungry? How do you decide when you're hungry and when you're not hungry? And 2, what is the best way to get up in the morning? My current thought is that I'm going to do this. Lay with a bottle of water, my red bottle, next to my bed, and the footage will be me drinking my water and being like sitting up or something, like a monk or something. I don't even know. I feel like I'm gonna be like, get up in the morning, 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 like something like that. But you know, it do be like that sometimes if you don't have that stuff. Okay, we're gonna flip.